Hi, everyone. My name is Guffy, and I'm joined here today by Kiri, and we're here to cover a League of Legends match here in the NJCAAE between Wake Tech and Guilford Tech. Yeah, I mean, we take a look at the rosters here. We've covered both of these teams on stream before, Wake Tech being previous NJCAAE champs. I specifically recall covering them, taking it 3-1 over um, uh, blanking on the other team name, but they took the finals of fall 2023 3-1. It was a pretty long series, but I mean, because of that, I do recall some of these player names. Rhomboid specifically, I believe he was the one we had on for our player interview. So regardless, coming into this match, should be getting draft started very shortly. But yeah, Gary, how you feeling today?
Um, I'm hoping to see a good game. I'm doing fine. Yeah, it's nice seeing our a previous champion actually play again. So maybe they could come back with another win, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they're looking really good right now. 5-0 in the season, so having a great run so far, and I believe we're just a couple weeks away from finishing the season. So yeah, I believe teams are getting ready to begin their draft here in just a moment. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing if obviously we just had League Worlds over the weekend. Looking at some of the champ picks in the finals, just as an example, saw a lot of Silas and Galio in the mid lane, a lot of Renata in support. Things that I don't think are too unfamiliar to the league meta over the past few months. But regardless, kind of interested in seeing how they work with that.
Yeah. Looking at some of their like the world's picks, for example, right? We see Renata, and it's just how she's able to play into like these attack speed heavy ADCs like Callista and Ashe. So like we'll probably end up seeing like we might see a Renata pick come out, we might see an Ashe pick, for example. We might even see Rumble because of, that ultimate is like very high impact for those team fights, even if like Rumble does not work that well in lane anymore, you know? So like maybe we'll see like those champs come out.
All right, well, getting about ready to see. We already have RE band coming out from the side of Wake Tech, moving forward immediately with the first two bands from Guilford's side. Yeah, waiting on that second band from Wake Tech here. Probably thinking about it a little bit longer.
I kind of find
Um,
it interesting that they banned two top laners or three top laners on inside of GTC already. And looks like Wake Tech is banning two mid laners. We seen the Ari and Akali be picked out, and then Kindred. I actually don't remember seeing Kindred much during Worlds. That might be I might be misremembering thing. And that's the Ash that I was mentioning from earlier. Because we are more focused on attack speed right now in our ADC meta. Ash is actually really perfect for that, and she's also really powerful with kiting out. Let's see what Wake Tech picks after that one.
yeah, I'm sure the top lane bands from Guilford are probably some respect to Rhomboid, their top laner. I remember him
That
making a lot of moves in the final last fall.
mhm.
Um, I believe he was mainly working with blanking on the champ name, but it's their first band.
Alawi.
Alawi. Oh my gosh. It's like I remember what she does, but I'm blanking on
The
the name.
tentacle, yeah.
Yes, a lot of tentacles. So yeah, the Alawi I specifically recall Rhomboid was putting in a lot of work with in last year's fall final. So I'm sure that immediate ban from Guilford is probably acknowledging Rhomboid's comfort on that champion.
Interesting. We're actually going to see an APC pick coming out from Weight Tech. Seraphine is also a weird pick for me, mostly because like we've mostly seen engage heavy supports. The only exception is Renata, but that's because of how much she offers in terms of counterplay against these ADCs that build attack speed primarily. So it's actually interesting seeing that. So we see a Nico mid lane pick and a Leona support. This is what I mean by the engage heavy supports too. Is just we see so much more of them over like enchanters. So I'm a little surprised about the Seraphine actually.
Yeah, it looks like good old J4 in the jungle. I feel like every league event I've seen at like the amateur or collegiate level, there's always a J4 rolling around
J4 is
somewhere.
always a safe bet to take. J4, very simple, very hard to mess up. You engage in, you get your value out, and then you win. Hopefully, um, like we know J4's meta. Like J4 becomes meta based off the side of his shield, pretty much. It's just like what the items he builds and what he scales off, like how well they do. We're going to see Poppy and Gwen ban. Poppy, I do understand. Gwen, I think it might be a respect pick because I don't remember seeing Gwen. And Gwen also has been nerfed recently in this past patch too, so I'm actually a bit shocked with that pick. Things considered.
Yeah, I recall seeing some good performances on Gwen through the events that I've worked on, but I don't know enough. I don't recall enough about Guilford's team to know if their mid laner prefers to do Gwen. And of course, over time, as things do, as people, join and leave schools, roster changes, happen. So it's not exactly the same rosters we've seen on the stream previously. Um, like I mentioned earlier and have mentioned multiple times, Rhomboid, a name that I remember pretty well from Wake Tech's performance in last year's national final. But, some new faces to us on both sides that I'm interested in seeing how they perform.
Yeah, we also see a Yone and Olaf bans. Olaf, I do understand. He's actually pretty strong within like pro play. Yone is kind of hit or miss. We've seen Yone in Worlds, but almost I only remember Yone's losing the games eventually. So it's actually interesting that they end up banning Yone for me. We see a Jinzhao and Galio. Galio was one of the world's top picks at in this past Worlds actually. We actually saw Faker on Galio. We also saw sorry, I'm blanking on names right now. Um,
Billy
Knight.
Billy,
Knight was
yeah,
also
Knight.
yeah, Knight was also on Galio. Um, yeah, Galio, he's like the anti-mage, so against that Syndra, against Ziggs, against Seraphine, against all this magic damage you see, Galio is a really good counter pick to them. Jin Zhao, um, very simple champ, he's same thing with Jarvan. You go in, you either win or lose. So like very simple to play. And then with the Renekton, very stable pick and pro play. You know how Renekton ends up playing the game. It's just try to win lane, try to bully in lane, and then just hope your other top laner ends up losing. But I actually don't know who's their mid laner on the side of Gulliford, because Nico and Galio can play into both lanes. So to me, that's actually an interesting pick,
Well,
to
as
say
we
the
hop
least.
into the in-game draft, we should get
Life is too short for fear.
a pretty good idea of what these players will be running with here.
You don't have to be afraid of me.
Probably just recreating the bands at this point,
Yeah.
nothing too crazy,
I
but
will wait for you to be better.
yeah, it should be interesting to see. I mean, yeah, looking at
Yes.
our draft,
Good to know.
again, we have the Seraphine, Ziggs, J4,
I'm absolutely livid.
Renekton, and
One thing I would like to see
Overstep.
is the Nico, because of like her relatively recent rework. She can disguise as minions and wards and the environment. So I would really love to see if we could see like a huge Nico outplay with her disguising as a minion, and then like getting away with like a ult inside as a minion. It's one of the things I love seeing as Nikos, but hate receiving it because like you did not count the wave. You did not count how many minions there were. So it's like, let's see if you get to see that come out.
Yeah, it does look like Guilford is
Seems you
going
left
to be
your
running the
brave
Galio
plants
in
at
the
home.
top lane
Want me to
as
wait while you go get them?
Centrico is their top laner, Ducky being their
My
mid
sister's
laner,
doing
so
great.
looking like a Nico mid as well. And then I think as we expected, Jin Zhao and J4 in the jungle, nothing crazy there. So yeah, all we've got left to get absolute confirmation on with both sides is some support and ADC, but I think we're pretty confident on what those are going to be. It should be Ashe ADC and Leona support for the Guilford side on the left here, and Ziggs ADC, Seraphine support for Wake Tech on the right. All right, does look like we have our picks confirmed here. Yeah. Wukong Long, yeah, that's the support. Okay, so it's just out of order. We'll fix that when we get in game, but regardless, this is the comps we're looking at. Interesting seeing the Galio used in the top lane. As we were talking about earlier, Galio is more commonly featured in
Mid lane
mid
as an
lane.
anti-mage pick too. But to
Yeah,
be fair, the Renekton was the last pick, so Renekton might have been a counter pick to the Galio, for all we know. Or maybe it's just a comfort pick um for them, you know.
could be. I mean, I do wonder if Wake Tech, as they were going through Champ Select, may have saw the Galio come in after the Nico, and figured they might try and bring out the Galio, or sorry, expect the Nico in mid and the Galio in top. So yeah, I think you make a great point there. That could very well be a specifically picked counter pick for that champ lineup.
One pick that we didn't see in Worlds that I thought we would end up seeing eventually would have been the Corki pick, because Corki, as we know, is like very strong currently. So I was expecting to see Corki out at least once. I'm surprised that we didn't get to see that at all. So maybe during the series we might end up seeing one Corki pick, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, with this champ selection, obviously we're just waiting on the spectator delay now. So I think what we'll do is we'll cut to a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll have the game all ready for you. See you soon.
we are starting up the game now. Looking at our current map positions, looks like a standard start.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I mean, there isn't really much going on within the first 15 seconds of a game anyway, so only thing we do is wait and see if anybody does anything.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Yeah, let's make sure we get the swap here, as Gray will be our ADC for the Guilford side. And just a reminder for the folks watching at home, we have Guilford on the blue team and Wake Tech on the right team coming into the first game of this series, so no wins for either team yet, but as you said, Kiri, it just looks like the usual standoffy stuff. We've got Pink coming out of the gate a little late, should be able to make it to his camps more or less in time.
We see decent trades going on in the mid lane currently. Give me 1 second, sorry.
Yep, just the usual early boxing. Nothing too crazy going on here. I mean, this is the fun part for anybody on the casting desk, because there's not that much to talk about when it comes to action. Got a little bit of a scuffle going in the bot lane as well. Just, again, usual boxing. We've seen some decent damage done to Zero Zen going through the jungle, while Pink still seemed a little bit more ahead on health, but perhaps a little bit behind in the camps. A lot of pressure in the top lane coming from Rhomboid already. Again, a name brought up multiple times, kind of the star of the show in a sense, and he's making great pressure on this Renekton, already a level ahead. Really interested to see if Guilford puts in a lot of effort to try and get rid of Rhomboid early, or at least make his job a little harder. Maybe some extra rotations from Pink, and already seeing him go in here, get a little bit of extra damage in on CentroCo's Galio. I remember we talked about earlier, this being a potential counter pick for the side of Wake Tech here, and we're already seeing it do pretty well in lane. Some pressure coming in from the Wake Tech side and bot lane as well. Some good damage done. Mr. Lom and Cataclysm both sitting at full health pretty much. The Seraphine and Ziggs doing a great job of taking their place here in the bot lane and keeping ahead in CS as well. Looking at the scoreboard at the bottom, we already have a pretty big CS gap in the top lane. 12 to 23. Rhomboid getting some proxy farming done already. Pretty low health bar though. Is CentroCo going to be able to do anything to this?
Sorry, I am back now. Let's see what is any major updates during these past minute or so.
Not really. CentroCo putting in some solid damage, able to get some proxy farming done in the top lane. Already double the CS of his opponent, CentroCo on the Galio, so kind of really living up to the hype that we were giving him earlier. Overall, it looks like Wake Tech is keeping a pretty good early lead. Already 700k gold, 700 gold differential, and have an early back from Rhomboid, I think able to get a couple buys in. He is holding only, I believe that's only 200 gold in pocket, if my brain remembers right, but regardless, pretty solid start for the side of Wake Tech.
Yeah, right now it's just going a bit back and forth. We see there is a little standoff going off in top lane. We saw the Renekton just take a tower shot off of that.
Yeah. Rhomboid is definitely not afraid to continue putting on pressure. They're even a level right now. Gonna take a big chunk of damage right there, but should be able to get out with any additional pressure. Over in the bot lane, we see blue team advancing a little bit, but Wake Tech's minion wave is coming back in, and if trends are to be followed, they should be able to clear the blue minions faster than the red minions will go down.
Yeah, right now in the top lane too, we see the Renekton just ahead. Like he's probably able to go for an all-in considering the level advantage too. Right before the Galio can reach level 6, we might even see that. I guess not. The Renekton is actually going to be helping out with Void Grub.
Yeah, we see Jarvan on the Void Grubs.
Drag.
Again,
We
coming
also
over.
see Jinzhao on the Dragon currently, so they're taking objectives, but they're on different sides right now. Yeah, Dragon pretty much can't really do anything against that with your jungler just taking Void Grubs. Let's see how that ends up turning out. Because Infernal Drake is considered our weakest Drake in the game, surprisingly enough. I think people thinking more damage is more better anyways. But Void Grubs are doing really well right now in terms of objectives.
Oh yeah, Rhomboid continuing to hold that level advantage over Centrica on the top lane. A lot of brawling going on right now, but looks like nothing to come of it. Just kind of a lot of scuffles, a lot of little engagements here and there. Zero Zen getting a little pressure on the Guilford side jungle.
Just taking it for free, you know, that just means denying more farm from the Jinzhao, who Jinzhao and Jarvan, they're both are stat sticks. So it's pretty much just a competition of who gets their power spikes first, because once you get that power spike, you pretty much win that fight anyways. So we'll see who gets it done first, you know?
Yeah, looking at the bottom left, we see Pink just having hit level 6, but Zero Zen should be at level 7 very shortly. Yep, there it is. Able to continue farming, and Jinzhao trying to work up to that point. Over in the bottom lane, we see Ziggs on his way back from spawn. Gonna have to be shown a little bit respect by the Guilford Tech side. Fukang Long trying to catch up to Cataclysm in level.
Yeah, we're just seeing we're just seeing a side of Wake Tech that's completely ahead in level right now. Not necessarily dominating the game, but they have a huge advantage right now where ETC can't really do much at the moment. They're kind of behind, you know, just waiting for an opportunity to take back that advantage. Because a 2k gold lead for a team may not sound like much, but it is, in terms of competitive play, it is way more than people would like to believe.
I was about to say, yeah, it doesn't seem like the gold lead is much on paper, but considering not too much has happened. Although, as I say that, I'm seeing a little bit of brawl up in the top side jungle.
You see the Nico come out and the Jinzhao too actually getting out of it. Like I said, they were looking for that advantage. Now we're seeing two kills come down, now third. And then they just get that goal lead that we were just talking about. Now it's gotten narrower. And you're also denying a lot of farm too with those kills. So you might end up seeing GTC actually closing that gap now.
Yeah, a lot of respect for GTCC pulling through there. It seemed, again, on the board, 2k gold lead from the side of Wake Tech made it look like GTCC was just outright losing. We still see some CS differences in favor of the Wake Tech side, but especially on that top lane. But over there in the bot side jungle, that little scuffle there has proved that they're not just going to back out of this fight.
Yeah, they're not just going AFK farm and wait to scale, because as much as like that's like a thing in pro play, both teams are not really necessarily late game champs. like late game demons. Only one is like Ashe, but that's because of the nature of ADC. Everybody else is like mid, early game focused.
Yeah, you do have the bot lane of the Wake Tech side putting some pressure onto that mid T1. Couple plates gonna go down. Meanwhile, we have the junglers both kind of hanging near each other
We're
in the
actually
topside
seeing
jungle
a
here.
scuttle about a cut form and for the second Void Grubs too. Considering that Wake Tech did get first Void Grubs for free, we might see them try to contest because that pushing power of Void Grubs is much stronger too.
Yeah, looks like it's gonna be. Looks like they're gonna just let Guilford side have it. Guess they don't have enough pressure to really contest there. Rhomboid hanging around. We've got Cataclysm on the Seraphine sitting on the other side of the wall. Do they have vision?
They do
No,
have vision.
They do have vision, but wasn't enough. Blue team was able
Yeah.
to secure the kill on the Void Grubs.
Seraphine was trying to snipe it out last second, but didn't work out. But that's the best she could do as a support anyway.
Right, looking back at the gold differential, only 1,500 now compared to the 2K. Good on the Guilford side for catching up, and we've got the Dragon about to spawn in as well here.
Right now, their positioning, both teams' positioning, it's all hovering around the Dragon now. Interestingly, yeah, well, Nico's backing off anyways, but yeah, you see Galio, well, now backing off though, but everybody's around Dragon area or within reason to fight for Dragon. And like,
Yeah,
Mountain Drake is actually more powerful Drake too. When you look at it in numbers, Mountain Drake is one of the better Drake, the top half of the Drakes to consider that. Just gives more value out to the team than like the Inferno Drake, like I said earlier.
look at that. We got Rhomboid about to take the T1 in the top lane down to just one armor plate. Pink coming through to try and put a little pressure on him, make sure he can't just get it for free. Obviously, needs to get some advantage for his minion wave before he can make more tower
in
damage.
blue side jungle again. Like I said earlier, it's just denying the Xin Zhao more farm. Like he cares about
Yeah, it looks like both teams chose to allocate their resources differently. We've got the Wake Tech bot side pushing the middle T1, but Guilford just gets a free dragon off of that. It didn't seem like they were being contested much. We have a team fight starting in the topside jungle here.
Oh, Seraphine ult comes out, Nico ult also comes out, Galio dashes in, does not get the knockup, but Seraphine still goes down anyway. Let's see. We have the Ziggs, Renekton's still alive. I don't think they will fight that though.
Yeah, they
Ziggs
don't
does
have
end up
much of
using
a
his W
response.
though.
The tower kill is good, and it looks like they should be getting this bot lane tower as
Oh,
well.
Renekton's about to... Oh, Renekton did not stun? Interesting. I thought Renekton was about to dive in with that one, but oh well. Yeah.
Regardless, looking
Towers
back
are
at that...
down.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Looking back at that team fight we just witnessed, it seemed like there was just a lot of good CC usage from the Guilford side to lock down Cataclysm and get that other kill in. So 4-0 on kills, but look at that gold differential. It just may look like the Guilford side is winning the team deathmatch, but overall you don't see any red side towers taken down, but all of the blue side T1s have been removed from play.
Yeah, like currently right now, T1 towers are very strong in giving gold, so like losing it is very detrimental this early on before plates goes down. Once plates go down, then the towers, they're slightly less important, but they're still important nonetheless.
Yeah, it seems
What
like
is
the
this
biggest
Nico
gaps
doing
between
right
individual
now?
players
Hiding
are...
in a bush.
Oh?
Interesting play, I see.
This guy's against the minion walking across the lane. Not sure if she's trying to potentially catch the red side's bot lane and mid lane off guard. Zero Zen
Probably.
coming close in the jungle though. Is he gonna notice?
They probably know. Yeah, they know. They definitely know now. Oh, Herald does go down to blue side. Almost pretty much for free. Zero was not there to contest at all.
I almost wonder if the Nico is getting some distraction in. You know, they think, oh well, like does she know that we know? And then let's hang around here for a bit. All of a sudden, you've lost an objective. Got Centrico and Fraxer brawling a little bit in the bot lane here. Fraxer already putting some great pressure on blue team's bot T2. So again, even though Guilford is ahead in kills and seems to be winning a lot of these team fights, it's Wake Tech who's got the win in their sights already, putting so much pressure on the objectives and maintaining a 5,000 gold lead.
Yeah, 5,000 gold lead now is almost like... That's about half an item for everybody, half a complete item for everybody. Major component for people, pretty much. Like, if you look at the items for each team, pretty much, you'll see Jinzhao already actually, Jinzhao is even with items when it comes to against the Jarvan, but the issue is that, you see, Jarvan is already 30 CS, 20 CS ahead than was stealing the camps, as you remember. So that's just how much that gold farming how much invading the jungle was for Jarvan, how much more impactful that was, despite it not looking that special in the first place.
Yeah, that farming, it ain't much but his honest work, but we see Fraxer putting some great pressure onto Fukong Long here. Barely going to be able to get out with their life here. Only 77 HP as they're healing over time, probably closer to 20 or so when they first got hit. But regardless, going to be able to get out alive here. Still no kills on the board for the Wake Tech side, but as we've been discussing, it's this farm and this objective play, or sorry, the tower play that they've been getting so much advantage.
Calling out right now, Seraphine ult comes out again, but hits nobody. Jinzhao does end up killing the Jarvan at the end. Yeah, the rotations were also slow in the side of Wake Tech there. They didn't really were able to help heal for the Jarvan right there. For 0 at least.
Looks like Guilford's trying to get Fraxer off their bot T2 right now. Full team rotation down here. Maybe at least push them away, but if nothing else, get some vision on their bot jungle. But now we've got the Seraphine and Ziggs already putting pressure onto the mid T2, and there it goes.
Yeah, like they don't have any kills, but they're still ahead just because of objectives. Like, they're playing it smart because kills aren't everything in the league. The how you win is not through kills. How you win is through destroying the next. And right now they have so much more map control now too. This drag. Oh wait, drag. Have we not seen this drag the whole time? This is a smite. Oh my god. Yeah, it just goes straight to GTC. I'm surprised I did not catch that earlier.
I mean, regardless, we've got Wake Tech taking another T2 up in the top lane, so just that bot T2 we need to get rid of. Rift Herald coming in the mid lane for Guilford here, trying to get some pressure onto that mid T1, but only gonna whittle it down, not take it out. Still a little over 1/3 of the health on that T1 remaining.
Yeah, like they've given up a lot of objectives. Oh, Nico comes out.
Excellent damage from Ducky here so far. We've got Pink coming in, but Rhomboid right here on the flank. Gonna start getting away.
Comes out. Ziggs ult also comes out. Galio is also ulting. Oh my god, that's 3 ults in 1 right there. Ashe ult comes in also. Ashe ends up getting the kill under Renekton. I'm surprised, but like, we just saw a huge explosion of ult. There was also a Jarvan ult that I not even catch too.
Yeah, a lot of resources spent there.
Jinzhao, but yeah, that 1 kill for the Renekton. I'm surprised they just dumped all of it just like that.
I mean, I think, again, common theme of our discussion for ever since we started the draft, Rhomboid, I think, is a big threat perceived by the Guilford side, and so they're showing him a lot of respect. I mean, he's got an almost 60 CS lead on his counterpart in the top lane, and the gold differential is certainly nothing to scoff at as well, so I imagine that, they may not have meant to spend as many resources as they necessarily did. That Ashe ult may have been a little bit early, but regardless, it's looking at that team fight, they didn't take any extra losses there, so perhaps they see it as a win. Probably next time
Yeah,
the team fight
they
happens,
didn't
they'll
give
already
up
have their ults back.
a single death, so to them it might have been all worth it. But they could only see from here where that leads them to go.
Yeah, it really seems like these teams are just putting emphasis on different things to try and gain a foothold in this matchup. Still, though, that 5k gold lead is making it look like Wake Tech are the ones with the advantage.
Yeah, you see 3 of them both in 3 from each team in mid, with the other 2 players from each team somewhere around the map. You see the Rhomboid off lane, drawing attention away from mid lane.
Yeah, Ducky on the Nico gonna back out there, show some respect to the amount of players on the red side he just saw. Looks like they're just gonna be kind of sitting towards their side of the map while red team continue to exert pressure in the jungle. Got Mr. Luam engaging with the side of Guilford there a little bit, and then rotating down, getting some good damage on that T2.
Yeah, did you know that if the tower is under 25% HP, Ziggs can just kill it instantly with W, right? That's how it goes down so quickly.
Makes a lot of sense, and it makes sense why we saw a good bit of Ziggs picked over in Worlds just yesterday, or sorry, on Saturday. It's really, you know, just Mr. Lom showing why the character is as strong as he is in a pick. I'm sure next game we'll probably see a Ziggs ban from the side of Guilford.
Yeah. It's also just Ziggs offer things that ADCs don't, you know, usually ADCs don't slow unless your name is Ash. But Ziggs has a slow, you know, Ziggs has more poke than the typical ADC, mostly because of nature of how Q works. Ziggs has the execute ultimate that few ADC have. I think the only ones are Jinx, Draven, and Din. So Ziggs does scale pretty well, relatively speaking. It's just the fact that you're now playing a mage instead of ADC. Around the map, we look and there isn't really much going on. There's I think they're grouping around for Dragon, but I don't know because Wake Tech has been didn't give up 3 Dragons already, so we could only see where that takes us now.
I wonder if Wake Tech is kind of, now that they have some good spacing advantage, continuing to make that gold lead greater and greater.
Was already taking a fight in? No, just try speed damage and then walk back out.
Dragon
that
spawning
bush.
in a few seconds.
Yeah, well, 4 of the members are like a bit far away. They could start. They're looking for a chance to engage currently. There isn't really much they can do from either side. Oh, Nico ult comes out. Galio ult comes out. Shit. There's a lot. Jarvan's ult comes out, and we're seeing Nico go down, Jinja go down, Syndra go down. Renekton. Oh my god, that was just a huge, massive dump of ultimates. I couldn't keep up with that. I apologize, but like, when you have that many things going on at once, it's hard to cast it all. But we're going to end up seeing Zero try taking sneaking the drag out, considering the Zin's out is already down from, so they have no smite to contest it. But Galio is going to try his best to save it off, just to yeah, they're not doing much damage to Galio, so Galio's doing his job as a tank, you know. Yeah, Leono's gonna back come in.
Pressure on the 1v2.
Yeah. Seraphine comes out and hits the Leona. It doesn't really equate too much, but it's going to back them off even more. Dragon is reset, so all that damage that Zero just did into the Dragon pretty much amounts to nothing now.
Yeah, I mean, like, about a minute ago, we just bore witness to one of the League of Legends team fights of all time there. I'm with you. There were just a bunch of people got knocked. There was a lot of CC. Very epic gaming going on there, I guess you could say. But I mean, I believe it was Guilford getting 3 while Wake
Oh,
Tech only
Leona
got
comes
2.
in with the engage. Renekton does pop an ult out there, trying to start fighting. Let's see. We see Galio go down from first, then Leona, then Nico. Syndra does catch up, get a stray, but Ashe also goes down.
Finally,
Yeah,
we
this-
see a team fight win for the side of Wake Tech, and this Drake is as good as dead.
Oh, there.
Oh?
Oh, not getting Drake. This is what we mean by like the advantage, like the stat stick advantage, because Renekton is not necessarily stat stick, but he does play more like a stat stick than other top laners, for example. Like you could put him in a pair more like Garen, you know. But Jarvan
Looks
was
like
the
they got
stat
the
stick I was talking about, where he just has 2 items, and if he wins, he wins. If he loses, he loses. But all that CC amounted to getting that kill and eventually hopefully securing that drag. I would be very shocked if they cannot secure that drag, considering that fight and pushing tower.
Yeah, it looks like they just wanted to get the inhib in as a bonus while the blue team players were still waiting to spawn, and now they should be able to secure this dragon without much issue. Looks like Guilford doesn't even want to try and stop them, but they may be heading over to Baron here. We've already got NJCAA here in the topside river. I'm not sure if that's what they're considering necessarily, although given that Nico is already backing down to bot lane, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
Do have 3 of the blue team players in this topside river though, checking vision on this Baron here. They've worked to make sure that red team has no vision on it.
We're going to be seeing a pretty pretty Baron fight in about a minute or so. Let's see if they end up fighting. I guess not. They're all back in mid lane now. But
Yeah, I mean, looking back at the past few minutes, we've witnessed Wake Tech finally get a proper team fight win in after building up this huge gold lead, which is now extended to 9K. I think it was 10K at one point, but regardless, taking full advantage of the extra leverage they've gained, just playing it very patient, and I think waiting till much later in the game to really commit to trying securing some kills.
yeah, exactly.
Pressuring Pink a little bit here in the jungle. Nah,
Another thing is that Wake Tech just has so much more map control currently, because like not a single tower is gone on for them, so they're able to just use that to their advantage. Like GTC, all their tier 1 and tier 2 towers are all gone. They can't use that as a fighting point in their advantage. They have to go there blind pretty much now.
Yeah, the whole game taking place on this blue team side of the map. Still, all of Wake Tech's T1's up, and now they're taking the T3 in top lane. Not gonna go for the inhibitor, I don't think, but with what looks to be a 4v4 situation brewing, nothing gonna come of it. Meanwhile, over in the bot lane, we've got Rhomboid and Ducky having a bit of a standoff.
Yeah. One of the advantages Renekton done is that he has pretty good wave clear, so he works as a substantial split pusher too. He may not be the best split pusher, but he can in a lot of senses, just as a nature as like a top laner with good wave clear.
Looks like
They're actually
Wake Tech is getting the input.
Yeah. That gold lead just gets for now it's back to 10K. Like,
Ducky really far in, gonna get his team fight started here.
Ashe ult comes out but misses. Jarvan ult also comes out. Jinja not ulting yet. Wow. Okay. Leona ult comes out and Jarvan does go down. Renekton was able to get the tower. Oh my god!
Look at the Nexus.
They're back. They're in the back. Oh my god! They're just taking it right behind their eyes. I did not even catch the Ziggs. Weren't even in the fight.
Oh my gosh! And look at the damage going to the Nexus. I was wondering if my Fraxer was backing out of that team fight there. I think he's gonna get it.
Oh, Ziggs flash and gets it. Okay, let's go. Yeah. It was just like them commanding map control over the entire game, and you see how that went. They lost vision, and now they end up getting the Nexus in the end.
I think overall we just saw what seemed to be just hard overall control in the game from the Wake Tech side. again, if you're looking at it just in terms of kills, it seemed like Guilford was in the lead, but after all that, I think Wake Tech were just playing really patiently, really much more, I guess, educated, so to speak, and
Mhm.
waiting until their moment to strike.
Yeah, it was just like a sense of them be able to take a lead and be able to keep it even when like falling behind in kills. Like I said, kills they don't always mean the end of the world when it comes to a game.
Yeah, I think we've seen that really, really made clear for us this past game. So we'll have to wait and see how Guilford Tech chooses to strike back after this break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back to our League of Legends series between Wake Tech and Guilford. We just watched Wake Tech take the first game of this best of 3 series against Guilford, and we are getting right back into it. Teams should be starting draft very shortly. Kiri, what do you think about that last game we just watched?
Yeah, that last game it's a good reminder that kills aren't everything, because you're just watching GTC had was 6-0 at one point of the game, right? But then they still end up losing. Like, you would think having that lead would amount to something, but in the end it doesn't matter. So let's see how they come back from that. We also see a Lao event come in. I'll be honest, I find it interesting that they still ban Alawi. I would consider banning like one of their played champs.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about the Ziggs putting in a lot of pressure on those towers for the Wake Tech side last game, and I was thinking we might see a pretty early Ziggs ban from the side of Guilford, but it looks like there it is.
Yeah, there's that Ziggs ban. Yeah. They also banned Ari and Akali, which to me are still interesting. I would personally ban like previously champs. Ashe weren't that big of an issue, so I wouldn't really. Actually, not, yeah, GTC they played the Ashe, so it wouldn't be too much of an issue. That Jin Zhao did cause a bit of problems once in a while.
Yeah, that or they just want to take away another comfort pick for the side of Guilford Tech, trying to kind of pick up on what each of their players' go-to champs are. But regardless, seeing that Ashe pick already for the side of Guilford, Wake Tech going with this Sivir here.
Sivir. So Sivir, she has a very good early game pushing. So she actually can build advantages early on. It's more so the matter of how they end up playing it. We see the Seraphine, so I'm guessing that that's what they're going to end up trying to do, is try finding early advantage, just build early advantage early on.
Yeah, see the Seraphine come out for Wake Tech once again. That was their first pick last game, and well, it didn't necessarily feel like it was like the star of the show. I imagine.
Ashe and Leona, very safe dual bot lane pick. We already saw that last game. Maybe something else will change this game too. We could only imagine what they could end up pulling out. And
Yes.
an Eagle coming out too.
Feeling like an identical comp for GTCC so far.
I mean, it might have been just what they're used to playing too, because like maybe they just don't have many options, I'm guessing. It's hard for me to say.
Could be. I mean, again, I mentioned the Jin Zhao ban could be just to try and take away some of Guilford's comfort picks. Do maybe wonder if they're pretty close to that. And we see the J4 again for Wake Tech. So far, I think the only new face we've seen on the board is Sivir. Got second wave of bans coming out. Kindred being taken out by Wake Tech. Guilford hovering their first ban here, and looks to be a Gwen ban again.
So
Yeah, this draft just feels really similar to last time.
yeah. Poppy ban and a Vlad ban. So yeah, pretty much just almost the entire this matchup. Oh, Aurora pick. That's, you see, I'm not too familiar with Aurora. Like, I play League, but I don't play League enough to understand Aurora and her true power extent. So it will be interesting, because this will be like my first time actually watching Aurora play gameplay.
I mean, in my own experience, over at the LAN center I work at, we had a league tournament about a month ago, and I recall seeing quite a lot of Aurora from a couple of different teams, including, I think, both of the teams that made it to grand finals. I even think there was some back and forth. I think both teams in that grand final had some Aurora play at one of the games in the series. But again, Guilford's comp just seems to be the same as last time, the Viego being the new face here.
So Viego is actually pretty interesting. There's two ways you might be able to see how Viego runs out. So either Viego is going to be like the assassin burst picked, or it'll be taking advantage of the fact that Wake Tech does know how to play the macro better, is able to farm stronger, and one of the things is Viego's passive. What is, when he gets a kill, he takes up the opponent's items and abilities, so might be trying to use their advantage against them. And then we also see an Olaf pick who's very strong in the end. It's very simple, very simple champ. Very hard to mess up completely, considering it would be a Galio top most likely, anyways.
Yeah, I do think that it's interesting. Like you mentioned, I think there could be a lot of purpose to this Viego pick from Guilford, but it's the only one that they were essentially forced off of if we're going back to their comp last game. Every other position is playing the same champ they had last game, but the Viego was forced off of Xinjiao by Wake Tech's ban in Wave 1. Meanwhile, on the Wake Tech side, we have a few new faces. Sivir, Aurora, and Olaf all coming in fresh out the gate. Seraphine and J4, continuing to work their magic. I'm interested in particular because Rhomboids seem to have a lot of good pressure on that Renekton, and perhaps the if it ain't broke, don't fix it adage is to be applied here. I'm just kind of left wondering at what they're planning.
Mm-hmm.
Hopping into the in-game draft here once again, we can get some absolute confirmation on what these teams are going to be running in each lane. I think it's pretty easy for us to say that Guilford is going to be running the same comp they had last time, save for Viego in place of Xinjiao. So that's Galio top, Viego jungle, Nico mid, Ashe ADC, and Leona support. A little bit more unsure on the Wake Tech side. I'm sure we'll see Seraphine, J4 in the jungle. And I guess, would that be Aurora mid, Sivir ADC, and Olaf top?
Yes, that's probably the most likely bet. Personally, I would be a bit hesitant I would have been hesitant to pick Galio, mostly because Galio is mostly focused on shutting down magic damage, right? But you only have one source of magic damage. Seraphine does not do enough damage, in my opinion, to be considered a threat anyways. So it'll be interesting how that turns out for them.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe they're expecting a bunch of pressure from the Aurora on the side of Wake Tech.
Aurora
she's a
was
newer
picked
champ.
afterwards, actually.
Oh, she was picked afterwards? Okay, yeah. So, So yeah, that is a really good point you make then. I mean, again, I think I've been mentioning the idea of comfort picks a lot. And so I just wonder if maybe this is Centrico's go-to. I know the last time we covered the Guilford team on stream, I believe Centrico was in mid instead. So I wonder if maybe his top lane champ pool isn't as developed as he'd like it to be. But, I could just be spitballing here.
Give me 1 second. Sorry.
Again, just moving through with the rest of these picks and bans being replicated in-game. Again, it's looking like what we suggested the lineup would be is indeed going to be the case. Getting these last couple of champ bans confirmed here after the draft law already done.
I'm absolutely livid.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think any possibilities what their plans are going to be in.
It's hard to say, at least, again, champ lineup being largely the same except for that Viego for the side of Guilford, and they're the ones on the back foot. The ball is in their court to try and take this next game against Wake Tech. Again, Wake Tech are a formidable force. They are 5-0 in the season, past champs as well, and so it is definitely an uphill battle for the side of Guilford Tech. And with very little difference in the champ lineup, it is definitely on them to employ a different game plan, or at least be more aware of where the Wake Tech is sending their players to get pressure on the map. that's going to be what they need to do, I think, in order to kind of push back against them in this game too.
Yeah, I think their game plan is probably going to be similar, where it's going to be focusing on farming actually, because Sivir is very strong when it comes to pushing out waves also. So we actually might see a similar plan to the Ziggs, just can't use that W anymore, where their game plan is take as much as advantage as you possibly can.
Yeah, I do wonder if like they're really banking on that Ziggs ban to help give them a little bit more room to breathe here, but regardless, I think we'll see that in just a few minutes as we wait for the spectator delay to drain out. We'll be back with you guys in just a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in with Game 2 of Wake Tech versus Guilford Tech in the NJCAA League of Legends Premier Series. Just came off of a Game 1 victory for Wake Tech. Same sides as last time. We've got Wake Tech on the red side, and
Oh my
early...
god, oh, Leona getting half her HP already gone. Interesting. They kind of just let that happen.
Yeah, looks like we're going to see the back there from Fukong Long on the Leona. But in the meantime, last game seemed like a pretty decisive victory for Wake Tech. Wake Tech once again on the red side here.
Oh, Olaf, game has been paused?
Ah.
Oh.
Well, it looks like we have a bit of a wait here, so I'll take the time to talk over what we saw in this last game. We saw what looked like just a lot of early game patience from Wake Tech, working to get their gold lead going, while we saw some early dragon takes from Guilford on the blue side. But while all that was going on, we had Wake Tech coming in, especially with that Ziggs, getting so much tower pressure. And at the end of it all, I don't think we saw a single tower taken off of Wake Tech. It was all Guilford stuff being knocked down, and then it all ended when a little team fight erupted in the top lane, and then I think it was Ziggs and Seraphine that just roamed down to the Nexus and just drained the health bar while blue team was backing.
Ziggs and Renekton, actually.
Ah, that's right. It was Ziggs and
Yeah.
Renekton, and then Fraxer in the mid lane backed out of the team fight and was able to, I think, with a teleport, get to the Nexus and help them take it out.
We end up seeing Fracture actually going down several times, but it had the most amount of deaths. But the thing was that it was for a good thing, though, because the entire time they were just getting assist after assist anyways. So at the end, it still paid out, even if you're giving up a few losses. It's that bounce mentality that they went on for a while. In the past, it was death doesn't mean everything when you could scale up stronger anyways.
Yeah, like I said last game, they were winning the team deathmatch, but the overall objective game was all on Wake Tech's side. Coming off of the pause here, doesn't look like anything's going to come of that brawl in the topside jungle. Just waiting around for the game to begin. Did I lose here? No? Is it paused for you as well?
Looks frozen to me.
Okay, that might just be the game figuring out the pause that happened earlier, but again, just hanging out for a while, waiting for this to get resolved. There we go. I think we're back in. Cool. So, minion waves coming up. We're going to see that clash in mid first here. Doesn't look like much else happening. Rex and Gray getting their early hits out. Gray disguised as the... Or sorry, Ducky disguised as the Ashe. Gray is the Ashe player. Just some exchanges
of
of hits
trade
here.
going back. Both end up proccing their electrocute. It doesn't turn out to be all that impactful in the end. They're both went even.
Yeah, Ducky getting some extra damage in on the Fracture though, as this first minion wave seems to phase out.
But yeah, what we're seeing is that we see the Vigo starting top side while Dragon's starting bot side. So you gotta think about this. About
Ooh, look at the mid lane.
Ooh, mid lane is going a bit crazy right now. Aurora almost took the level 2 win immediately.
Yeah, Ducky's gonna have to be careful. Keep an eye on Fracture's cooldowns.
Yeah. But like I was saying, one of the things that we have to factor in also is that the jungle rotations, and it's who's going to be in Kyle and who's going to be, just in a weak spot. So we're going to see the Galio getting pushed up the tower, and like if Diego started the other way around, we would actually be able to see like a proper gank onto the Olaf, but
over in the bot lane, looks like we have a lot of damage coming out from the Wake Tech side. I mean, you've got Gray down to just a couple hundred health, coming along around 250. Cataclysm taking some damage as well, but Mr. Lom over on the Sivir sitting pretty at a good 2/3 of the health bar, still intact, so probably gonna have some advantage. Oh, miss it, but looks like a early game kill for the Aurora in the mid lane.
Yeah, maybe we see Wake Tech actually going ahead with a more aggressive game plan, We see how Olaf... Yeah, look at that Olaf. It's already it's behind in the blue side. But yeah, we might end up seeing a more aggressive gameplay where they take their advantage through farm, get the kills after all, and then just win the game outright.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely the game plan they had last time. We were talking off stream, but it's kind of just sitting here wondering what Guilford is trying to do in the second game. Again, with a comp that really the only difference between their comp last game and this game being Viego, it's just kind of leaving me wondering how that's going to play out. And not too much of note going on right now, just the usual brawling. Fraxer a level up on Ducky.
CS at the current moment. Fraxer and Ducky are actually having a duel in mid lane. Yeah, not really much else, just because still a bit too early to decide.
Some damage exchange at the top lane as well, and it looks like NJCAAA is having a better time against Rhomboid. They're way more even on levels, and it seems that the CS gap isn't as wide as it was at this point in the last game, so
yeah,
I wonder if maybe Centro is more comfortable playing against the Olaf, or maybe Rhomboid just isn't as comfortable, although given...
the Rhomboid is going in for a kill now, like, that's... There's a joke with Olaf where it's, you go fishing, you throw an axe, if you hit, you run at them and then kill them. And we just saw that happen right now. Like, that meme of let's go fishing, it applies to that Olaf really hard, and they would expect to get that kill. So that's 2 kills on the side of Wake Tech now. And
some brawling going down in the bot lane.
You might see bot 2 now. Let's see. Anything special going on?
Don't think we're going to see much commitment. We do have the support from the side of Guilford going in.
The Ignite coming out.
We
Leona
have
does end up getting the kill though.
Disconnect from Cataclysm though, so I wonder how that's going to be resolved.
They got us. They're Seraphine disconnected. That explains why that play was so questionable, because they didn't use flash or heal during it.
Yeah, it seems that the Guilford side just saw that opportunity and decided to go in. I can't recall the exact League or NJCAAE rule set when it comes to disconnects in League, but I imagine they'll just have to move on despite the situation. But if we look at the top of the screen, this is a little bit different than the situation we had the game before. It took a while for Wake Tech to get their first kills online, but now we already have 2 from the side of Wake Tech, and the only one that Guilford has appears to have been assisted by a DC. So I'm wondering if Wake Tech might just be sitting after that happened, just like, it sucks, but it's whatever, we keep moving.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're feeding their bot laner either, because they fed the support that kill. And like, yeah, joke about supports as much as you want, but like, they can't really do much with that extra gold. Leona doesn't really have many options going forward with that extra gold. It would have been best to for the Ashe to get that kill in the end.
Especially with Ashe behind 15 in CC already. Looks to be a decent, CS. It looks to be a decent CS gap across the board right now. It feels like last game that was much more towards the top and jungle, but now it seems more spread out along all 5 members of the team. Obviously, we are only 5.5 minutes into the game, so a lot of things still have the potential to change, but with what seems to be a pretty different start to things, and still looks like a 1.1k gold lead for the side of Wake Tech. I'm thinking so far that the outlook for this game isn't too much different from the first.
Yeah, I'm feeling that Wake Tech's going to end up winning that advantage early, and then just like, may not necessarily sit on it, because we just saw 2 really aggressive plays going on. So maybe we're going to see... We're not going to be able to see GTC coming out with kills.
Yeah,
maybe that's
I mean,
what we're going to end up seeing it.
That kill onto the Seraphine should give them a bit of leverage. It looks like, hard to tell from what little information we have right now with only a still frame of the game available, but looks like Fukang Long and Gray might be trying to go and get some damage in on Lom Severe as well, which would probably be, if they are able to do it, that'll be exceptionally useful to help bridge the gap in CS that's been created in this bot lane. But, you know, looking across the board, I think levels are fairly even. Looking in the bottom left here, we've got a decent lead from the J4 on the side of Wake Tech against his counterpart on the Viego. But, small lead for the Aurora in mid as well, although both of them have recently backed, and so we're not going to see any engagements between them anytime soon. And then bot lane, ADCs are very close in XP, and that's after that kill, which is important to consider. And then Leona just about to hit level 4. Not sure where Cataclysm is at XP-wise, because Seraphine is gonzo. But thinking about what we've got to look out for in these next few moments, we've got J4 roaming around the top side jungle, the Olaf pretty close to Centric on the Galio, probably trying to just clear wave out of his tower. Again, mid lanes both having backed. I'm hearing chat ticks. I think we should be getting back in here soon.
Nope, not yet. They said Romuloid will update y'all as soon as we hear something. It seems like his internet full on died, so we have no idea what's going on.
That's unfortunate.
Fukan Long. Spectrum BS Wi-Fi strikes again. So, we're going to be here for a while then, because if it's really Spectrum, then geez, that's going to hurt really hard.
It is the unfortunate thing about online tournaments. When you're working, everybody playing from home, there's so many different variables you have to consider. And internet is definitely one of them. And especially when you're not in the same facility or anywhere near each other and something like an internet outage happens, it can be very difficult to figure out what the situation is. And I can't imagine we'll exhaust all of it, but coming on just 20 minutes of pause time remaining, I'm kind of curious if we might have more of a dire situation for Wake Tech.
It's funny when you consider that they're both from both teams are from North Carolina, so like they should be technically not that far apart from each other.
Yeah, it's makes you wonder if maybe two of them are neighbors and you just go over and be like, hey, did your internet die? And it's like, yeah. But regardless,
Still nothing. So
looks like we will be waiting for a while, so we are going to take it to a break and we'll come back when we hear more word from the players. All right, folks, we're coming back in here after a bit of a scramble with the disconnect mentioned earlier. Teams are awaiting absolute confirmation from tournament admins on whether a forced game loss is administered. So in this situation, the teams are just opting to continue things as normal while they wait for the info to come through. In the meantime, though, Cataclysm appears to have reconnected, so we should be all right in that department. Or I
No,
guess...
Cataclysm is still off.
Okay, so should be back soon, but
Hopefully.
unfortunately, we're just forced to kind of continue the match as normal. We will try our best to keep you guys up to date with exactly what we are hearing from everybody involved, but in the meantime, we are just sitting kind of watching this game play out slowly. Not sure why we lost our mini-map. It's grayed out, but regardless, just looks to be a bit of brawling going on here and there across the map.
Yeah, I'm like trying to look around, but like it's kind of hard. Olaf actually going for a tower dive against the Galio. Is he going to get it? He does not get it on top lane. He ends up dying to the tower shots. Galio just running away from it. I'm shocked that just happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think after that pretty extended break, we have exhausted all 30 minutes of the game's allocated pause time. So we can't pause any further. But I think after all that, after just waiting to get confirmation, I'm sure the mental for some of these players is a little bit flustered. So just an unfortunate situation all around.
Yeah.
Respect to everybody involved for just kind of playing it out, just waiting patiently to figure out exactly what we're going to do for this moving forward. But in the meantime, we got a bit of fighting going on in the bot lane here. Luam trying to put a little pressure back. I think he's still waiting on the return of his support. But in the meantime, blue team going to be able to take Drake without much resistance.
It's very interesting, because, not very interesting, but it's very sad, right? Because Sivir, as a ADC, her game plan is mostly to push out wave. Because she has, like, she just wants to farm up, get a cheer recall, and then farm up again. But without the pressure of the support, it's going to be much harder for her to actually get away with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, with this stuff happening, it's difficult to say for sure whether or how this is going to play out at the end. I mean, I'm sure some of the players might just be thinking, this game's probably checked. We might have to just think about what's going on next game. We do have a reconnect from Cataclysm here, so he's already on his way to the bot lane, probably just grabbing a couple of items with the gold he has amassed during his absence, but we've got Luam still got their bot T1 here. No towers have been taken just yet, and we are almost 10 minutes into the game. I think the game before we had a lot more tower pressure coming out of Wake Tech, but right now it seems to be pretty even.
The issue is just mostly that they got a disconnect that pulled away a lot of pressure, so they didn't need to really worry about the Sivir as much.
We do have Zero Zen coming to this bot lane, maybe trying to help retake a little bit of the leverage they lost.
One thing to remember is that because the support disconnected and stayed away for a bit, Sivir is actually able to farm up and actually get ahead in level just by the fact that she did not have to share XP anymore. So it's may not be like the best thing to happen, but like it might have helped out in the comeback. Let's see how that turns out though.
All right, we've got Pink headed up to the top lane here.
River.
Yeah, possibly a little bit of a scuffle erupting in the top lane here, but I think it's just a lot of roaming right now. We got Fractured and Zero Zen. Pounce on Ducky here in the mid lane.
Oh, Ducky going to go. Nico ult comes out, and Jarvan ult does come out as a counter. Does not get the kill, but does exhaust flash away from Ducky. Olaf is in a tough spot trying to figure out what to do. Either going to go up, fight the Galio, or go help contest, but I guess can't contest, mostly because Jarvan is not there to help out either.
Yeah, just an unfortunate situation all around. Still just
Zero's
rolling with
doing
the
with
punches
his
for now.
tried and tested invading jungle, just getting that farm, trying to deny as much as you can from Diego. No. But the one thing to consider is how dragon fights will go on now. Like we
Yeah,
saw
you're down a
Waytech
player.
give up drags, but like you might want to take the drags considering that you were at a disadvantage anyways.
I think the most interesting part about what we're seeing here is that WakeTech are really being tested. I mean, they are, again, you know, one of the best teams in the league right now. 5-0 in the season, as you mentioned previously, and despite the situation, they're holding on to a pretty respectable gold lead.
Yeah. Yeah, there isn't really much going on. So you just have to wait to see if anybody starts to choose fights. They're all playing footsies with each other at the moment. Olaf is looking to, is getting some fishing in the top lane, but it's not going to amount to anything really. Bot lane's also having a little of a scuffle going on too.
Yeah, Cataclysm back in business, helping put the pressure on down there. Nothing seems to be coming of it, but again, just
So
kind of
weird when you
waiting
say
and seeing.
Cataclysm, because Jarvan's ultimate is also called Cataclysm. So I'm just thinking Cataclysm is back online. Oh, Jarvan's about to go in for a fight. I just thought about that now. It's a little funny.
Yeah, well, at least we don't have a player named Return of the Forge God.
Yeah.
I believe that's Ornn's ult, but I could be wrong. Or I think it's Call of the Forge God?
Something like that. At least you don't have a player named Encore, you know?
I mean,
Seraphim's ult.
that's more plausible for a player name, I feel like.
I don't think. Oh, okay. Olaf and Galio's having a fight in the top lane. Nothing comes out really. Yeah, Olaf is looking for just good pressure against him.
Alright, we may have a bit of a fight starting in the bot
Coming bot
lane.
side.
Might just be trying to manage vision there.
Turret plating will soon
Yeah,
fall.
they're just trying to play for vision. Alright, is Jarvan going to come rotate to drag? Considering they kind of need it.
Bit of fight in the mid lane happening here. Ducky getting pounced on once again by the
Ducky getting
Jarvan
the ult off.
and the Fracture. Doesn't look like anything's going to come of it. Ducky going to be able to get out with their life. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Cedrico's taking a lot of damage from Rhomboid. Now just kind of waiting while the minion waves show back
I'm
up.
to see if Rhomboid is going to go for the tower dive again, because earlier he did that and end up losing. He's like in prime position to get those tower dives off, but I'm guessing not.
Just clear out the minion wave. Definitely can get a little bit of damage onto Centrico here, but probably going to be a little bit more careful. I think he's considering it right now, or at least just trying to give
Look at that
Centrico a little bit of
footsies
pressure.
game.
Oh yeah, playing just in and out of each other's range. A lot of very careful positioning here to try and exert pressure onto the other side and make sure nobody gets to do anything too drastic. Going to be able to stop the back there, so going to try and be a little bit of a nuisance, even though he's not going to be able to get the kill necessarily. Alright, over in the bot lane, Sivir dishing out plenty of pies. Looks like a pretty good health advantage for the side of WakeTech here. Starting to put on pressure towards that tower.
Oh, there's a TP coming. Oh wait, what? TP. Yeah, Nico comes TP. Oh, Ashles comes out and gets the stun onto the Seraphine, gets the kill off. Seraphine did ult, but it didn't really amount to anything. We're going to see some scuffle going in the mid lane also at the same time. Aurora is trying to fight off by Diego right now. Mr. Skill Shot, but let's see if it goes. Aurora comes out, Jarvan goes in engage, ults, and Aurora still gets the kill in the end. Yeah. Top lane does not have any action going on though. Still standoff right now. But keeping that Galio in there is very, very powerful because you're not eyeing the option to be going around. The Leona is 1 HP. I wonder if they were going to try to do anything with her. Oh, gets the kill with that snipe with her Q. Yep. Oh, Nico gets the kill on Aurora. I completely missed out on that. What even?
Been destroyed.
I didn't even notice that happened. Seraphine flashes engage. Ash counters flashes, runs away with her life. Oh, there is a fight going on top lane. Ashe misses her arrow on the Olaf. Won't be able to get the kill on the Olaf. But mid lane is going about to fall down. Mid tower, Tier 1 is about to fall down. Ashe can't really do much to defend against it at the moment. There's a 3v3 going on. Yeah. Leona used her ult, but I got the kill off of that. But let's see if the positioning for everybody, if they could get anything else going on. Top lane, there's a scuffle going on. Olaf uses ult, Viego uses ult. Olaf is able to get away with it because of his CC immunity. Galio cannot knock up, or Viego couldn't either stun. So, Olaf ends up getting the kill in the end. Zero's going to get the Herald for free pretty much. Viego was down, so they can't even contest for Smite anyways. Yeah, we're going to see Olaf getting Tier 1 towers too. Like we said earlier, their game plan is probably going to farm up towers. My game client just crashed. Yippee! Anyways, basing it off the stream right now that I see. There's a scuttle going on in mid-fight. Viego comes in to engage. Jarvan just ulted. Aurora also ulted, but Aurora does go down. Seraphine was the first one to go down in that fight. Yeah, that puts GTC back in a... gives GTC a decent advantage at the moment now. My apologies, my client crashed, so I need to get that fixed now.
Sorry about my absence, just working a few things out. And yes, apologies about the absence of the minimap. Seems to be disabled on our end for some reason, so just unfortunate right now, working with what we can. Want to make sure you guys at least have coverage of the match in whatever way we can give it to you while issues get sorted out.
This is going to be a very hard game to cast now because we have no mini-map and we don't have... and I don't have a separate perspective now.
Yeah, I would think the, maybe I'm just getting knowledge checked, but I would assume it has something to do with the full pause time being exhausted. Maybe it bugged it out somehow. I'm not entirely sure.
Probably.
Going to have to depend on the directed camera here to keep us up to date with whatever's going on. Doesn't look like much is, though. Just a lot of waiting in lanes, waiting for something to happen. Teams may be receiving word from officials, but still being worked out, I believe.
We see Olaf going fishing on against that Galio at the moment. We see abilities come out, but who is Olaf going to fight for the full commit? I guess not. Olaf is being able to go fishing against that Leona, gets an axe hit, but will he be able to convert off of that? Doesn't really chase after anything. They're just positioning in the air, positioning to have control over the map. It looks like Waytech is going to go for the Baron at the moment. Seems like GTC is not going to be able to test it out at all. Diego comes in but could not get the smite off. They're going to look for a team fight. Seraphine ult does come out. Diego's trying to get something, make something out of it at the moment. Diego just ulted Aurora, just ulted also. You see Diego goes down first. We're getting CC, we're seeing a ton of CC coming out. Leona try getting, zoning the Aurora off. Did I see Aurora to go down first? Oops. Ash went down first, my bad. The Aurora end up getting the kill on the Leona. And we see 3 go down on the side of GTC.
Yeah, it's starting to feel a lot like what we saw last game, but even more presence in these team fights for the side of Wake Tech, and now they've got Zero Zen and Rhomboid already putting the mid inhibitor out of commission, and now you've got top T2 as well being taken out.
I'm surprised how well they're able to bounce back from having a disconnect like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, last game they definitely showed what they're capable of. Now we see a bit of a pushback from the side of Guilford here, moving up the top lane. Big Tech just trying to keep their distance. They've got what they wanted now. They don't want to lose any more lives. Fracture just coming off the respawn.
The Baron buff too, which is very strong. Aurora is able to get out, but ooh, Seraphine was not so lucky.
Yeah, Seraphine again kind of being the center of attention here due to the unfortunate circumstances earlier in this game, but now we're at not so much of a standstill, but kind of waiting to see what happens next. Got a bit of engagement in the bot side. Riven taking Zero Zen.
Tries keeping the Viego zoned, but Viego does end up flashing out. Ashe also missed her ultimate.
Got some pressure coming on from the Guilford side. Gray taking a ton of damage from Fracture on the Aurora. Looks like Gray's gonna have to back out there, but still a lot of brawling going on.
We're seeing like this Aurora pick being able to get so much work done. Galio just ulted, shield helping with his teammates staying alive, but Vito does end up going down. Ashe does go down next. We're seeing this Leona zoning this Aurora away from her team as much as possible. But
that's the game.
Yeah, that's the game. I called it Silver Aurora. That's my bad. Oopsie. But yeah, trying to keep this Silver away from her team, but was able. But the Silver does still come out on top anyways.
Well, looks like even despite the difficulties, Wake Tech is going to take that second game, but I think what we're going to do, we're going to take another break here while we wait to get absolute rulings from the admins of the league. In the meantime, we'll try and keep you guys updated in Twitch chat. So hold on, everyone. Thanks for your patience. Hi, everyone. For those of you that have stuck around, your patience is much appreciated. Unfortunately, after some discussion, there's still a bit of confusion, probably just some miscommunications here and there, as far as what the final ruling will be. That being said, from what we have observed, Wake Tech did take that first game, and then despite the disconnection and the delay, were able to take the second game as well. And from what I can see from current discussion, we are still waiting on that official confirmation, so I'm not able to give that information to you at this point, but do be aware that both teams are being good about making sure to figure this situation out, and props to both the Guilford Tech side and the Wake Tech side for working to get things confirmed. So, gonna have to sign off here for now, but appreciate everybody sticking around, and you have a good night.